Hi, dear students, and welcome to ICT106 Technical User Support. I would like to start by saying very big congratulations. You've made it to week 12 and you've been working very hard. So I very much, and alongside with my colleague Aaron, we are very happy to thank you. For all your work, for all your dedication. We actually very much appreciate every single effort that you've done, and we encourage you to continue to do so. Not simply now in week 12, but also in your preparation for your final exam to be able to achieve the success that you guys do deserve. So again, thank you very much for all your efforts and welcome to week 12. Now, today we're going to start talking about a user support utility toolkit, and we'll talk about a number of topics. First of all, you have the regular details. If you are in Aaron's class, these are the contact details that are available. You can very much make contact with Aaron and also with me if you're in my class. And we are very much dedicated and happy to always provide you the support that you guys need. So please feel free to make contact at any time if you have any question and you would like us to go and actually answer. Now today we're going to go on the recap of the previous webinar's objectives. We're going to go to week 12 topic. We're going to talk about the learning objectives, and we're going to talk about the work that you could do before the um, the midweek webinar this week. Now, we start very quickly with a previous recap. We spoke previously about the goals of training activities. We have to go and really understand who is the person we're going to go and actually train. We need to understand what sort of skills and knowledges people have to be able to go and from there develop a proper training, proper information that we are going to be able to go and deliver to benefit the stakeholders we are going to be training. So we need to understand, why are we doing that training? What are we hoping to go and achieve? So by the end of all of this work, the person who we are training, what are they going to potentially be able to go and actually do? We spoke about steps in training process, and the steps very much involve starting with really understanding why we need that training and the objective of that training. We spoke about planning a training session, which involves looking at a list of various topics that we might want to go and actually, you know, understand and deliver. We start with a big list of all of these potential topics that we might go and use as part of our training. And then from there, what we do is we go and identify the arrangements of all of these topics. Which one is going to be a main topic, one is going to be a subtopic, and we can be able to go and obviously use as part of our training. Then we go and talk about the preparing the training session. You put everything on a slide. You start basically getting all the materials ready. And we go and talk about presenting the work. So you go and finish all of this work. It's ready to go and be presented. And when we present it is basically we need to go and later ensure, have we actually done the right thing? And that's really about the progress. We want to go and ask people, what do you think we've done? What do you think was great? What do you think we could improve? Because all of that information is really about the foundations we need to be able to go and deliver the outcomes that will add the value we would like to go and actually add to our clients. So it's about always finding ways to go and improve and get the right outcomes for our clients. We're going to talk about the user support utility toolkit, and specifically we're going to start talking about various if you want information resources used by support specialists. We can talk about the role of all of these support utilities, like there's hardware support utility, software support utility, network support utility. There's so many of them, but if we go and think about the role of the utilities, like for instance, the role is to diagnose a problem. If I have an issue, what is the actual problem? Why is it occurring? What is the solution? We try to go and get all of that information devoted and delivered by us by the actual support utility. We talk about locating the information. If there's any specific information I need, the utility will potentially help me be able to go and find it. We talk about utility software and information resources. We need to research it. Is that utility going to be inappropriate? We need to test that utility in practice, see, does it work very well? We need to go and ensure that that utility is going to be incorporating any updates that are relevant at any point of time. We talk about the various utility software options. Like there's, for example, options where they are commercial. You have to actually pay for these utilities in order for them to go and be using them. There are options that are free, and this is what we call a freeware version of software. There's what we call donationware. For example, we give you that item or the software utility, or you can install it, you can work with it, there's no problem at all. We ask you to make a donation. Sometimes we oblige you, sometimes it's just a request, but it's called a donationware. We have utility software provisions. For example, there's this utility, it has a privacy policy. How are we going to go and protect the privacy of the people? How are we going to use the data and so on? There's obviously end user agreement, which is, well, if you want to use my tool, you can use it to do this, and that. You can't use it in a notarized manner to go and do, and it's specified all of these things that you cannot actually go and do using utility. There's a few issues or caveats to think about utility softwares. For example, cost. It could be very costly for you to go and buy utility. Utility might not be updated with the most relevant and correct information that is going to be needed for us to go and answer a certain question. Utility that we might go and use on a trial basis might actually not have all the features we need. So it's about thinking about all of these things, when we're trying to go and think about getting a software utility in our organization. There are so many common user support utilities, guys. You want to support the hardware, the system, the software. We're going to go and support the network, the internet. There's so many things we need to go and bear in mind. But if you go and think about the hardware support, for example, we're going to go and diagnose a hard disk or a memory issue with our, with the actual machines, and we're going to try to go and actually identify potential solutions. If you think about system information, for example, we're going to go and generate reporting on installed hardware that are available currently on my computer. If I talk about my operating system or software support operating system utilities, for example, there's a DOS command that is available. You can basically write whatever command you would like using the DOS command to actually go and get the computer to go in action. Talk about software support and specifically application support. We're going to go and have to go and, for example, audit the software licenses. Do we have the license? Do we not have the license? Any things we need to change and so on. System problem diagnosis utilities, for example, finding and analyzing issues available in the system. Network support, diagnose any service faults such as, the connection is not working as expected, or the network is slow, or the ping is too much. You go and diagnose that. Internet support, for example, we test the internet connectivity at any point of time. File management tasks, for example, backup files, we can go and use using utility, backup our files. Performance enhancements, for example, we have the utility that's going to go and free up disk space that we are going to be using at any point of time. Security solutions, for example, we monitor whether there's any, we monitor the firewalls and see have there been any breach to our network and somebody have had access that is unauthorized for them to go and actually have. We talk about user support tools such as if I'm sitting at home and I'm delivering support and I want to go and deliver support to someone who is available in Adelaide, I can use the remote access tool, and the remote access enables me to go and connect to your computer, take control, and see what I would like to go and do at that point of time. There are so many useful support utilities. I spoke about a few. The Windows command, Windows repair disk if there's a problem, for example, with the storage. process monitoring. You're going to go and see every process running on a computer, how much is it using, and if there's, for example, a process that is using way too much processing power, I can go and decide to go and cancel that process and end the actual application. And I spoke about TeamViewer, which enabled me to go and log in to people's computer, whatever the location of those people. There are many, many terms relevant. We know the basic things such as software license, such service fault, things like that. End user license agreement. We need to go and buy a license for the actual applications we use. A firewall, for instance, enabling me to go and ensure my network is protected from unauthorized access. If you think about password guesser, for instance, to guess whether my password is correct. Privacy policies, browser header, which goes and direct when we try to go and make a search of the internet, it directs where the things need to go. Which page do we need to go and be directed to? So all of these there's a lot of obviously various key terms here. I recommend you go and have a search for that. Something like the bottleneck. Bottleneck is where there's something in the system that is blocking my ability to go and achieve the required outcomes. For example, let's say I want to go and get I don't know, a file to be transferred to from Sydney to Adelaide in a very quick manner. There might be a bottleneck. There might be a very so many files trying to go and process on the system, and because they're all very high volume, there's a bottleneck. The files are not being able to go and be sent as quickly as possible at the same time. So it's another things for us to go and actually bear in mind in terms of bottlenecks. But there's, for example, also stress testing. For example, if I want to go and install let's say, software, and I want to see whether the software is going to be able to go and cope with the stress, I might create a virtual environment where I could tell the system to go and potentially uh, have, let's say, 10,000 people logging in on the system at the same time. So what happens when we do that is it does give us the ability to go and see whether the system will be able to operate as we expected in various conditions that are available. Now, there's other terms available. I recommend you go and make sure you go and search, you go and try to understand and explore the topic further. I recommend you read chapter 12 from the textbook, and after reading chapter, you should be able to attempt assessments in this book to show your understanding about this user support utility toolkit. As always, guys, we are very much dedicated to helping you. So if there's anything at all you guys need, you just need to make contact and let us know. And please remember, we care about your success. We care about all you achieving your best potential. So please continue working hard, and please make sure you make contact with us if at any time you need any assistance. Thank you very much for all your efforts, dear students.